Hi Gemini, I'm going to be doing a self-love tarot spread. These are general messages, so if they don't resonate with you this week, go ahead and come back next week. Maybe I have one that's more your speed. I'd really like to get better or just more acquainted with doing this particular spread. So we'll be giving away free readings. My email address is in the box below. These are self-love readings. They are made for the person who is watching, so they're not really intended for cross-watchers. We can get started. I'm going to do a 6-card spread, and then the seventh card will be your message from spirit, and then I will use the Shamanic Healing Oracle deck to clarify. I did shuffle a little bit off camera, so I'm just going to do that one, and then we will get started. The first card out is going to be how you feel about yourself. The second card is going to be areas that you need to prioritize, or maybe needs that you need to prioritize. The third card is going to be a place where maybe you either subconsciously or consciously know that you're kind of letting yourself down. We've got to work on that, because if we know that we're not doing our best, well, that's not loving ourselves as much as we can. The fourth card is going to be a way that you can allow your most authentic self to shine through. The fifth card will be something you need to release, and the sixth card will be something you need to acknowledge, and the seventh card, like I said, will be your angel or spirit message. I'm going to use the Shamanic Healing Oracle deck to clarify. These are gorgeous cards. I will show you them as we go. Okay, so Gemini, for how you're feeling right now, oh, this is so sweet. Maybe you're messing with a Taurus because they got almost the same thing. Look at that. The Lovers. This card reminds me, honestly, more though of the Ten of Cups, because usually the Lovers is by themselves. In this, the Lovers are represented by a family. That's so cute. Maybe you're feeling like you love somebody, Gemini. Sorry, Taurus had Ten of Cups. Yes, it was like the reverse, but same. Maybe you're in love, Gemini. That'd be so great. I've had a lot of love today. I'm not trying to do love readings, but if that's what comes out, because there's lots of ways we can learn to love ourselves while loving others, right? Of course. Something you need to prioritize. This is the Queen of Pentacles. And I always just see her as nurturing energy. This is not a very accurate representation of who she is. I like the cards, don't get me wrong, but in the traditional deck, she has that one pentacle, and she has nurtured it into a kingdom. But here we see she's kind of alone. So maybe this is more of like a self-nurturing energy. We all, don't be ashamed, Gemini, we all need to take more time to nurture ourselves. All of us. And in the area where you know that you're not doing your best, the 5 of Wands. It says strife. Are you being too hard on yourself, Gemini? I hope not. The card that says where you can show more of your authentic self is this 6 of Cups. Oops. Look at them. It says happy, or no, pleasure. Ooh, Taurus. Have you not been pleasing yourself? Pleasure. So let more of your fun side. Oh, dang it, I called you Taurus again. I'm really sorry. Gemini, pleasure yourself more. Or allow yourself more pleasure. Okay. So we have the Lovers, which you're in love, or you're feeling love, or love is around you. It feels really nice. Maybe you're home a lot. I know we just had spring break here, and those kids were home for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. How is that fair? You know, like, how is that good for anybody? They're not learning anything in those 2 weeks. And then because of the pandemic, we have homeschool mostly anyway. So, like, what are they really learning? I can't have kids home for 2 weeks. So maybe you've been home with kids for 2 weeks and you need to practice some self-nurturing, and you are trying not to kill anybody. I feel that, Gemini. I feel that, okay? And then because of all this stress, because you're trying to do your best and not murder people around you, you really need to focus on some pleasure right now. How can you give it? How can you get it? Yeah, how can you get it? In the position of something you need to let go of. Oh. Okay, so some pleasure, not too much, because we have the 7 of Cups. It says debauch. Maybe you need to let go of too much pleasure. I've never heard of such a thing, but let's see. And then something you need to acknowledge. Ooh. Spirit is bringing you ideas, Gemini. How are you dealing with something? I'm not really sure yet. I only have like one idea, but we're going to clarify and figure it out because Spirit is going to send you some kind of clarity. You're lucky. And then, the Spirit message is the Sun. This is like the outcome. Like, good things are coming for you, Gemini, look. So let's get started on clarifying because I do not know what is going on here. Okay. Let's see, for the Lovers. How are you feeling right now? Gemini, not Taurus. Because Taurus is doing good. Taurus just needs to change some habits. Let's see about Gemini. Ooh, stripping illusions. What illusions do you have? You have these Lovers, and you are stripping illusions about sexual energy. Gemini, with all that pleasure running around, I wonder what ideas you're stripping. Maybe it's not just illusions you're stripping, Gemini. I make really ugly faces when I talk. I should like video record myself more talking. My mouth. Okay. Anyway, so we said that something you need to prioritize was this Queen of Pentacles. This could be self-nurturing. This could be giving nurturing out. Whatever it is, your Queen of Pentacles. Transformation. What are you transforming? Are you nurturing more of yourself? Emotional release. I am not really picking up on what's going on. I hope this is resonating with somebody. Okay, let's see. This strife. This letting go, Gemini. What are you letting go of? Perceptions? Beliefs? Do you believe you're in strife? Usually I talk about how the white bird and the black bird, because the letting go is a sense of duality, right? Where we have to embrace both aspects of things, but I'm still really not understanding what you're going through right now. Strife. Slow but steady. Whatever you're letting go of, you're going to have to move through all these emotions to get there, Gemini. We're at 8 minutes. I usually have way more than this. What is going on? Okay, so we said something you need to acknowledge was pleasure. And then this card says, it's all good. Huh. Maybe Taurus or Gemini. I'm so sorry. Okay. So we have here the Lovers and this Queen of Wands and this strife, or this Queen of Pentacles. And the Lovers is talking about stripping away illusions about sexual energy and strife and pleasure. I kind of feel, Gemini, right now like you aren't getting your needs met. And I'm only saying this because it says the Lovers, and it shows a family, and then it says stripping illusions and sexual energy. I do not take my word for this. I have only heard stories. I have never been in a long-term relationship by choice. I'm afraid of commitment. That's not about whatever this is about. What I'm talking about myself is, what I'm seeing here is the potential for people who were very seriously in love and probably showing that love to each other because there are children here. And now I see a Queen of Pentacles who is more or less alone, and there's strife here. This is kind of the story that I'm feeling here, is maybe like a long-term commitment or a long-term marriage. When sometimes we feel like we aren't as close as we were before. I've only heard stories about this. I've never been married. But I know that sometimes from what I've heard is that couples will be together for a very long time, right? And they have that honeymoon stage and everything's great. But after you've been together for like 4, 5, 6, 7 years, it does start to get difficult to continue to kindle that romance. I'm not seeing here that your relationship that your relationship is coming to an end. What I'm seeing here is there's a new version of how this is going to have to play out. And this comes from self-love. Okay? I know, going back to why we're here, right? So it might feel right now, Taurus, Gemini, I'm really sorry. It might feel right now, Gemini, that you aren't getting your needs met. And that you are stripping away these illusions about sexual energy, because maybe you felt like your partner would always have energy for you. But there's so many reasons people can feel like they're not in the mood, even men. It's true. Like, it doesn't have to be cheating. It doesn't have to be steroids. I've heard steroids do really weird things to your sexual drive. It doesn't have to be anything like that. It could just be that they are tired. It could just be that they're getting older themselves. I think it's actually really common for most people. Maybe just men, because I know that women pick up their sex drives in their 50s. But like, for men, it kind of tapers down, right? So maybe there's a situation right now where you're feeling like your needs are not getting met at home. And instead of dwelling on that and creating this strife for yourself, maybe this anguish, because sometimes we go into our heads about why we think things are happening, right? So maybe your partner right now is just, they're really not super feeling it. They're really just tired, or maybe they're anxious, because I don't see anything here about anything else. But maybe you feel like your needs are not getting met. And so what we see here with this Queen of Pentacles is this self-nurturing energy. I'm not saying like alone time with yourself. I am saying literally nurturing yourself. Because sometimes I don't want to be too like, well, I mean, why not, right? So the way that society is set up is that we teach men that they can express very few emotions. Sexual energy is like revered. So men can go ahead and give sexually, and that's fine. But the problem with this is that a lot of men learn that the only way that they can express their emotions or let you know how they're feeling is through sexual energy. And even though they might not know this, and even though you might not be consciously aware of this, it's entirely possible that you realize or feel closest to your partner during intimate times, right? Because they're being more vulnerable, they're being more expressive with their desires. And then when that energy slows down, you don't understand why you don't feel that intimacy. It's because really the only way they give it to you is in that one particular instance. Or maybe that's the most expressive area where they give it to you, okay? And so when you're not getting that sexual intimacy the same, you might mistake that for emotional intimacy. And here it's telling me that you need to explore more of your own emotional intimacy. How do you feel on the inside about things? What makes you feel better? What do you need from your partner? Nurturing yourself with this emotional release. Okay, this is not a physical release. This is an emotional release. I'm trying to figure out what it is you really need. If you need from your partner more sexual energy, that is a conversation that you were absolutely entitled to have with somebody, especially with somebody that you're married to or in a long-term commitment with. People tend to know when their energy changes. They tend to know when they're going through things, and their willingness to communicate those changes depends on their ability to be vulnerable. And if the only position where they understand that they can be vulnerable in is while they're having sex, then things can become fuddled, okay? We can have a private conversation about that. I already feel like this is getting very, like, personal. I mean, obviously we're talking about sex, but like, this is obviously for like someone in particular. What I'm seeing is that this sense of like feeling like you're not getting what you need, not nurturing yourself, is creating this strife. And so you may feel very vulnerable and alone. And what they're saying here is you have to let go of this belief that sexual energy is tied to romantic energy. And if what you really need to focus on, if what you're really feeling is that sexual energy, that lack of sexual energy, well, you have two options. Like I said, you can have an open communication with this, about this with your partner, or you can just do it yourself. Really. Also, if it's that emotional intimacy that you're craving, you can also find that with yourself. I promise. A lot of the time what we think is that we need somebody else to be romantic with us or intimate with us. But intimacy is an energy, it's an emotion, it's a feeling that we have, and we can give that to ourselves. I'm trying to think of a situation with intimacy. So let's say something that's really nice when you have a partner, something I enjoy, is you come home at the end of the day and you've had a stressful day. How many of your days are not stressful? Be honest, like probably not very many. Or you have been home all day with the kids and your day is stressful, and your partner comes home and you have that sense of like relief, right? Like it feels good to now have somebody else on your side that you can see physically, and then you can hug them. I always love a good hug at the end of the day. And then I like to talk about what we did. Like, oh, how was your day? What did you do? No, how was your day? What did you do? It's kind of boring. It is, honestly. And a lot of the time it's kind of the same. Oh, I just went to work. Oh yeah, that one guy. You know? But it feels good. And that's intimacy. After sex and everybody's cleaned up and you're just getting ready for bed, or you're just laying there and you're talking about things. That vulnerability that you feel, that closeness, that's intimacy. And we can have that with ourselves. We can. I'm not currently dating, and so I don't have the opportunity to come home and give somebody a hug and tell them how my day went. But there are lots of ways that I have found to allow myself that intimate time. One thing I do, and it's not, I mean, it's kind of cheesy, but I journal. I do. I tell myself all kinds of things. I write things down so that I remember. If it's important, I'll put like a date on it or something so that I can go back and see it later. Because it's not necessarily getting to tell somebody about those things, but it really is about allowing yourself time to let go of things throughout the day. Okay, so like you sit with your partner and you talk at dinner and you say, how was your day? And they say, oh, I just had to do some work, but this report was really annoying, blah, 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 blah. They have just worked through that report. They just did it and it was stressful, and now that they get to talk about it, they can release those emotions. Or, oh, the kids are just driving me crazy all day long. Well, your partner doesn't really, I mean, what can they do about it? They're not going to change it. It's not going to be different. But you were allowing yourself that emotional release. Oh, I was so stressed, and now I got to tell somebody about it. Well, if you're super stressed, write it down. If there's something you really want to get out, just get it out. You could even talk to yourself. I talk to myself. Sometimes, not all the time, but I talk to myself, talk to my dog, things like that. Intimacy can also be like doing things together, like things that you enjoy. So maybe your partner doesn't have time lately, maybe they're really busy, but you super enjoy going to the bookstore. You can do those things yourself. Also, pleasure. You can do that yourself. I mean, maybe if they saw you having fun by yourself, they'd be more inclined to also want to have fun with you. I don't know. Okay? But, so let's see, pleasure and honoring your energy. I think this is a really big, important part here, Gemini, is honoring your energy. Whatever you think you need, you can go after that. You can get that by yourself.